Okay, so here we are. We are working on the proving triangles congruent. So you should be doing this with your notes out from yesterday, going through this. So on the front page, what we're looking at is whether or not the two triangles can be proven congruent. Now remember, we have 4 different congruency theorems, or postulates rather, and they're up on the board. Those are side, 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 angle, side, side, or angle, side, angle, and angle, angle, side. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off, we're looking at number 1, and we're trying to say, okay, do we have side, side, side? Do we have side, angle, side? Do we have side, or angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side? So let's look at what we know. So we're given the fact that those two sides are the same. We also know that those two angles right there are the same because they're vertical angles. And so what we're looking for is something more. But there's nothing more. That's all we're given. We're not given that anything is parallel. We're not given any other lengths. We're not given any other angles. So we can't prove congruency. And here's the thing. These are the 4 that we have. Right? And so you can do this on each one. Go, okay, we have a common side, so we'll mark off a side and an angle on each one. But that leaves us on side, 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 we're short 2 sides. On side, angle, side, we're short a side. On angle, side, angle, we're short an angle. And on angle, angle, side, we're also short an angle. Okay, so let's look at this. Here we have on number 2, we know that those are vertical angles. We know that we have 2 90-degree angles, so those are going to be congruent. And then we have a side. So here we're looking at these, and we have 2 angles in the side. And so we can look at angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side. And we'll look at how they're set up. Now, if we wanted angle, side, angle, remember, see how when we write it as ASA, we write the S's in between the 2 angles. So that blue mark that I just put on number 2, that's where the side would have to be, that leg of the right triangle, in order for it to be congruent by angle, side, angle. So here we have an angle. That's our vertical angle. We have our 90-degree angle, and then that goes around to the side. We have the same pattern on the other triangle, so that's going to give us angle, angle, side. Okay, on to number 3. Number 3, again, we have 2 angles and a common side. Remember, the reflexive property allows us to say that that middle side, the one that both triangles share, is congruent. So here we have angle to side, and we have the same thing on the other triangle. So again, on number 3, we have, yes, we can prove congruency by angle, angle, side. I put ASS, and that's not what I meant, because it's angle, angle, side, not angle, side, side. That's what you do get for doing your homework at 11:30 at night. Okay, so moving on. So we just did number 3, we're looking at number 4. So number 4, we have 2 angles and the side in between them. So here we're going to be able to say yes by angle, side, angle. Again, the side is in between the 2. The side is in between the 2 angles. So therefore, when we write it, that's how it's got to look on the diagram. So we look at the diagram, we see the side is the included side. That's the side between the 2. And that means when we write it out, we say A, angle, then a side, then another angle. So it's ASA. So number 5, we're going to look at that. And we're going to see that we have all 3 angles are the same. But we're missing any sides, right? And since we don't have any sides, we can't say congruency. So we're going to say no. And the reason we're going to give is no congruent sides. Looking at number 6. So we have one set of sides, two set of sides, and then remember that middle one works for both. That's our third side. That is the reflexive property again. Number 7, we have all angles match, but no sides. So no dice on the congruency. Number 8, we have two sides, right, that match up. So that's, we have one set of sides there, second set of sides there. So now we're looking at, well, do we have a third side? No, we do not. But we do have that vertical angle in the middle, and that's in between the two sides. So we can put an angle. See how they're vertical angles? So we put that angle in between, and look, we have SAS, S-A-S. Okay, number 9, one side, two sides, three sides. So yes, side, side, side. Number 10, one side, then an angle, then another side. Let's see if we can match that pattern on the other triangle. One side, congruent angle, second congruent side. So we say yes by side, angle, side. Here. Again, if you don't understand any of these, feel free to go back and just watch them again. And if you still don't understand it, drop me an email or come in on Monday and I'll help you out. So, back page. What we're trying to do is we're looking at, so each number, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, has a congruency theorem next to it. Side, 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 angle, side, angle, or angle, angle, side. Now what we need to do is look at the diagram and say, okay, what additional piece of information is necessary in order to prove the given theorem? So let's check this out. Number 11, and I think the best way to understand these is just to do them. Number 11, we're going to go, we have a common side right there, PR, and we have the marked side right here, PQ and PE. So we're looking for side, 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 which means we need that third side, and that's going to be QR and ER. So what we need, the additional information that we need in order to prove this, is that QR is congruent to ER. And that's the piece of information missing that allows us to say that these two triangles are congruent by side, side, side. So the next thing we have is angle, side, angle. Okay, so what are we given here? Well, we're given these angles right here. We know that those two are vertical. So they're congruent. So really what we're missing here are the sides. Now it's important that we, and I did the wrong side. See? Again, make sure you're fully awake when you do your homework. So it's got to be, because see how the side right here is in between the two? So it's got to be the side in between the two angles. So I need to say that JK is congruent to JV. And if I had that piece of information, so if I had like that little mark right there, then I know that these two were congruent by angle, side angle. Okay, next up, we're looking at number 13. So we're looking for angle, side, angle here. So what are we given? We're given that G and H right there are congruent. We're given that the side in between the two, GH, it's going to be the same because we know that it is the reflexive property gives us that. So really what we need is that second angle. So we need that angle right there to measure that angle right there. Now we can't say G and H because we have two angles on both of them. So what we need to say is the measure of angle, IGH, that's this top one right here, is congruent to the measure of angle, SHG. That's this one right here. And again, what we're saying is if we had that piece of it, so we're given this right here, we're given angle and side. That was a horrible circle. We're given this angle and this side right there as. So what we're missing, though, is that third angle, or that second angle. So if that second angle was given to us, then we'd have congruency. Okay, so now we're on to number 14. 14, we're given two sides here that match up. And so if we were to look and go, okay, well, we've got the two sides knocked off, so we need the angle that's in between them. Well, that would give us angle V and angle D. Hey, Cleo. I wouldn't say hi to Cleo. I know you can't because, well, it's currently 1 o'clock in the morning and you guys are hopefully sleeping. Anyway, so the measure of angle V is congruent to the measure of angle D. That is the missing piece of information that we need in order to do this. So, number 15. We have side, angle, side. So look at the information that we have. We have the fact that we have angles right here, and we have this side right here. Okay? So we have a side and an angle. Now keep in mind, the angle has to be in between the two sides. So that's WV on this side and EV on this side. So if we knew that those two were congruent, then we would be able to say that those two triangles are congruent by side, angle, side postulate. Okay, moving on. Over here for number 16, we have angle, side, angle. And again, what are we given? We're given these two angles right here. So that marks that off. We know that the side in the middle there, ML, this right here, is a side common to both triangles. So what we're missing is the other little side. So this right here we need to show that those two right there are congruent. So again, because there are two angles right there, we can't say angle L is congruent to angle L because there's no specific angle L. So what we need to do is we need to say the measure of angle MLF, that's this one right here, on the left is congruent to the measure of angle MLN. So, last two, I believe. Nope, last four. Okay, I can count. So, number 17, we're looking for angle, angle, side. So, we're given that angle and the side, that angle and the side. So, we need a second angle. Well, which angle do we pick? Are we going to pick G and N, or do we pick L and E? Well, the key here is to look up at what we're trying to prove. We're trying to prove angle, angle, side. So we already have the side. We already have the angle right next to the side. So we need this second angle. Now notice that because this is angle, angle, side, we're talking about a non-included side. That means an angle that is not on the other side of the side that we're given. So that means that it is this angle right here is L and E that we're after. If I had said N and G, then that would have been angle, side, angle. So again, the question we're answering is, what piece of information are we missing in order to deem these two triangles congruent by what's given to us? And that's that piece right there. Number 18, we have angle, side, angle. So notice we still have two angles like in number 17. We still have one side like in number 17. But the side's in a different place. So here we have the angle and the side. So we need the other angle in order to make sure that that side right there is in between the two angles. See here? The side is in between the two angles. The S is in between the two A's. So how we write it has to be how it looks. Same thing on the other one. So here we're going to say that angle G has to be congruent. Or not measure. I'm writing measure, and I shouldn't be. Because we're not, measures would be equal. Let me go back and change that. Not on all of them, but just on this page. So angle L is congruent to angle E is your answer. And then angle G is congruent to angle K. Number 19, again, we have angle, angle, side. So we have, now here, when we look, notice that the angle and the side are not next to each other. They're across from each other. So we're going to cross out this angle and this side. That's what we already have. So what we need is the angle in between our angle and our side. And that's what this is going to give you. So it's angle Y on the first one. Not sure what's happening there. Sure, it made sense when I wrote it. Anyway. So here, we need to be able to go angle. Oops. We need to be able to go angle to side. Here we go angle to side. So again, I put the measure of angle C, which is wrong. I put angle C needs to be congruent to angle Z. Because if I was just given the picture and I saw that angle C was congruent to angle Z, then I would know that they're congruent. So, now it makes sense what I was drawing earlier. So what I was drawing earlier was, so here I need to make sure that they're corresponding parts. And I could either, another acceptable answer for this would be the measure of, not measure, angle D is congruent to angle Y. Because either one of these would give me side angle, or angle, angle, side. Because I had to go from angle E to angle D and then the side, or X to Y and then the side, or E to C and then the side, or X to Z and then the side. Either one is completely okay, and they're both right. So again, we were looking for two angles and a non-included side, and matching up either C and Z or D and Y will give us that. Last one. So we're looking for side, side, side here. So we are given one side right there. Knock that off. We're given a second side right there. Knock that off. So we're missing our third side. So what we need to show is that these sides right there, SH and SR, are congruent. Because if I can show that those two are congruent, then I've got side, side, side congruence. So we're going to go SH needs to be congruent to SR. And if we had that piece of information, then we'd have congruency. No, this wasn't the smoothest video I've ever made, but I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you guys on Monday, and feel free to hit me up with any questions you may have. Thank you very much.